Constructors. Basically, a constructor is the first method that runs once you initialize an instance of a class. It's used mostly to assign values at the moment you initialize the class. You can say it's kind of the initializer. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's create a class called book. Goes new book. So the moment you create new book, its constructor will run. And you've also seen that when we create objects, we sometimes can pass parameters to them. So those parameters, they go to the constructor, and then it does what it does with them. It's like a method, but it's the first method that runs. Let's create the book class. And now, because we are lazy, well, let's first create two public attributes. One will be for the string for the book title, and the other will be for the book page number. So as soon as we create the book class, we want to do something like this, like the book title foobar, and it has 300 pages. So we get an error because we don't have a constructor. So we can do this in two ways. We can go to the book class, then in Eclipse go to source, and then go to generate constructor using fields, and then we choose the title and the page number and just click OK, and it will create this method, which the constructor must have the same name as the class, and it doesn't have to return a type because it doesn't return anything. You don't use it to return anything. What it will return is the object itself, the book. So its name is the same as the class. You must remember it, it's important, it's the syntax. And also, again, don't name things, don't use things with the same name. So we can remove this. And we don't need the super. So basically what it does is set title and page number to the title and page number it gets the moment you create the class. And that's it, that's all it does. Let's also print initialized so we can see something in the console once we run it. We'll write init. It's short for initialize. So the moment we run main, you will see the word init. We haven't called, as you can see, any method or anything, because the constructor is the method that runs first. And there's another way to do this. Let's save it so we will get an error in the main. You can hover the book here and then click create constructor in the quick fixes pop-up. So the moment you click it, it will create a new constructor. At the top of the class, that gets a string and an int. And then you can do whatever you want inside of it. You don't even have to use those values, but that's another way to create a constructor on the fly. Now we won't have an error, but I want the previous constructor, so let's get it back. So you can do it both ways. You can even write it on your own from scratch, but we're lazy, so we're using Eclipse tools like generate constructor from fields. And that's kind of it for this lesson. Let's recap. We created a class with 2 attributes, and we created a constructor to initialize those 2 attributes. So now when you create a book class, you must give it a title and a page number. And when it goes into the constructor, it will assign the title and the page number to the attributes called title and page num. And it will also output init. And that's it. There's not much to it. That's all it does. It has to have, if you remember, the same name as the class, and it returns the class object itself. So once this runs, it will assign an instance of a book class to B. And that's it for this lesson.